After my last video on InDesign shortcuts, a lot of people asked me if they could see me use shortcuts in a live project, actually creating something rather than just going through the shortcuts individually. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I use shortcuts in my everyday production. So I'm going to make a design of a flyer and I'm going to use all the shortcuts. There's a link in the description to the previous video if you'd like to watch that one as well. I'm Darren Goddard, let's jump into it. So today I'm going to build a flyer using all shortcuts, and you can follow along, and I'm going to say what the shortcuts I'm using and they'll also be on the screen. As I'm on a Mac, I'll be saying the Mac commands, but on the screen you'll have the Windows and Mac ones so you can follow along whether you're on Mac or Windows. So let's jump into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a new document. So that's going to be Command N on the keyboard. And we're going to make this A5, so we're going to go 210, and then the height will be 148. We're not going to go through any of these settings today. I've got other tutorials on this which I'll link in the description below. Command 0 to make sure I'm centered. So the first thing I'm going to do is place my image. So that's Command D on a Mac, and it'll be Control D on a PC. So I'm going to select my JPEG, open it, and just click, and then I'm going to hold down Shift and Command and just scale it down. You can also do it up here, which in this case is probably going to be better, so I'm just going to make that 50% and probably go down a bit smaller as well, another 50%, and then we'll just set that to here. And then what I'm going to do is now open the bounding box to the full size of the document, and then I want to actually make this image fill the frame. So I'm going to click up here, fill frame proportionately, and now it's enlarged the image to fit the frame. So this is just going to be like a placeholder at the moment, and we might need to adjust it, but at least we've got the image in. So I'm going to hit Command S on the keyboard or Control S on the PC to save it. The next thing I'm going to do is create the shape here. So I'm going to hit P on the keyboard for the pen tool, and I'm just going to draw a white shape. You can do this as easy as just clicking and dragging to make the shape. You can see at the moment I've got over here, I've got the stroke highlighted. That's why we've got a black line, which is fine, because then you can actually see what you're drawing, and we can adjust that at the end. And then we'll just go to there, click up to there, and complete the path. Now I can hit V on the keyboard for the selection tool, which is up here, and X on the keyboard, which will flip between the stroke and the fill. Come up to here on the stroke and hit none, and then the fill will go for paper. So now you can see it's filled it with paper. I'm going to hit Command minus on the keyboard just to zoom out a bit. So this is when we need to play around a little bit to have it like we want. So I'm going to move the image over and then extend this side and hit W on the keyboard for preview. You can see it's not quite hitting it here, so what we need to do is pull that out a bit further. So now it fills the whole shape. We can also enlarge it slightly because I don't quite like this window here, so I'm going to hit the anchor point there and then just enlarge the image, one click, and there we have it. Now we've got the image in position, we've got the white area to put our copy in, and we can start moving along. You might find out that when you're working you want to adjust this, so you can hit P on the keyboard again to hit the pen tool, and if you then Command click, you'll see it highlights there. You can then delete point or add points, and then you can go to a direct selection tool, which is that one there, which would be A on the keyboard. Then you can pull and play around with the shapes. So I'm just going to pull this up a little bit here, move this out slightly, play around a bit here, click there. I'm going to hold Option on the keyboard and then just say it only moves that side. And for now, I think we'll settle with that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put some copy in. So if I hit T on the keyboard, that highlights the type tool, and I can now draw a text box, which I'm going to do. So we'll type in the heading, Modern Living. I haven't got any colours set up or any typefaces set up for this tutorial, but what you'd do when you're working on a proper project, you would actually set these up prior based on your customer. I'll link in the description a video that shows you how to do this in more detail. So I'm going to hit Command A to select all. I'm just going to go up to here and I'm going to type in Helvetica, but I've already got it up there, so I'll just select that. I'm going to hit Command, Shift and the greater than arrow, and this will enlarge the font. I want this on 2 lines, so I'm going to let it pull over like this. Okay, so that's about right. And then I think the leading is too open, so I'm going to hit down Option and then just hit the up arrow and it will change the leading. As you can see, this is a lot quicker than going to separate menus and going up there looking for it and then thinking, oh no, it's not there, it's over in my palette here, and then adjusting it there. Using the shortcuts is a lot more effective and a lot quicker for your process. So I'm going to make that a bit bigger, so Shift Command greater than arrow again, and now you can see obviously it's touching on that, so we'll have to adjust the leading again. So Option, arrow down, that's about right. And also what I'm going to do here, I'm going to change the font for that, make it bold. And I think we'll make the heading bold as well, the top part. So we'll make that bold as well. And then I can hit Command T on the keyboard and that will pull up the character palette, because I want to actually highlight that and actually change the height of it, but only the height. So as you can see, that's growing. So I'm going to go 140. So that looks pretty good. And then you can either change it here as I've got it open, or you can hit Command A and use the downward arrow again to open up the leading. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think we'll concentrate on the fonts and the styling first, and then we'll go for the colours after. Let's just move that up to the top more, give us more space. So if we hit W on the keyboard, we get in preview mode, so we can actually see how it's going to look when it's completed. As you're working, you may find you have to adjust sizes, etc. This is fine. This is all about the process of making it look nice. So what I like to do is get all the copy in first, and then I start playing around more with the layout. So I'm going to duplicate this box. So I'm going to hold down Option and just drag down. And then in here, we're going to type, after getting rid of that, Open House, Command A, and then Command Shift and the less than arrow, which will reduce the font size. Now it's jumped back nicely, so I think we'll go for that. You can see I've got a margin here, so we can just make sure that the font sits on there, so it's hitting the margin. If we double click there, that'll reduce that, so we can get that out of the way. Again, we'll hit Option, drag, and that'll duplicate it. Command A, less than arrow again, so we'll type in the day, so Sunday, 18th of June, return. And then we'll hit return the keyboard, and as you can see, you've got this little error sign here telling you that there's more below it, so I need to open up the text box. So if I do that, then I can see, and what you'll find here is I still can't see the cursor down here, and that is because we were using 63 leading, so we've changed the point size to 16, but the leading is still far too large. So what you'll need to do is actually select everything by going Command A and then adjusting the leading, and I'm just going to do it up here, 16, and now you can see this jumped up here, which is where the cursor will be now. So we can go 10 AM to 2 PM. Okay, and then once again we'll adjust the leading, Option, down button, and there we go, that's quite nice now, quite a nice size. Again, double click on there. The actual purple line is the margin, so I'm going to move this so we can go up to layout, margins and columns, and then I'm just going to change this to 10 all the way around, just to give us a bit more space, and then we can once again move the text over to the margins, put it up over to there. Okay, so we'll duplicate that again, which is obviously Option and drag down. I'm going to select all, Command A, and I'm going to change the font to 12 point and 12 and 14, which will give us a nice bit of leading. And then I'm going to type out a copy here, and then we have the copy now in place. Right, I'm just going to zoom out a little bit because I think we're getting a bit too busy here, so I'm going to actually reduce the size of the heading slightly by holding Command and Shift and then just constraining it there, just moving everything up and just reducing everything slightly. Move that up a bit, move that up a bit. And then once again, I think I'll select everything and just scale everything down just to give us a bit more space to get the other elements in. Like I say, this is a design process, so as you're designing, you will need to tweak things and change things slightly just to make everything fit nicely. So next we'll build the actual circle here, which is like a book now, so it draws people's attention to it. So now we'll hit L on the keyboard, which will select the ellipse tool, which you can see here. We'll hold down Shift, and that will make sure it's a perfect circle. Going to flip that again, and we're going to keep the stroke for now, and then what we'll do once we've got the copy in, move that up slightly. I'm going to get rid of the fill on that. So once again, we'll go up to here, we'll hit none there, and then fill, we'll go for black. We'll change it later, but I just want to get the copy in. So I'm going to duplicate that again. This time I'm going to get rid of that. Select all, which is Command A. Going to go for a light font. Command Shift, and then the less than to make it smaller. Now I'm going to move it down here. Place it on top. I'm going to hit Option Command T, and that'll open up the paragraph. So I can now center the copy. Go up to there, hit the T, and then we'll make it white. As you can see, it's actually behind the circle, so we've got to use the keys Command, Shift, and the right arrow, and this will bring it above the circle. So you can see it's now popped in. Once again, we'll reduce the size, Command, Shift, and the less than. And we'll put book now. Book your... And you can see here what's happened again. We've got the leading too high, so we can do that. Command A, and then Option up key, which will bring it in. Book your tour today. Once again, we'll close the leading up again. Double click on that. And what we want to do now is we want to center those. So we'll come up to the options here, and we'll make sure we've got align to section, and then hit that, and then we've got it centered. So now you can see we're starting to come together. We're starting to get all the elements in. We're going to have to reduce them again, because as we're getting more elements, you can see it's taking up more and more of the page. Select everything, and then we'll hold Shift down to deselect the white, and then we'll just reduce this, probably something like that. And then we can make individual elements bigger or smaller as well. So I think I'm going to reduce that slightly. And what I might even do here is adjust the actual curve so it comes over and fills up some of this white space, but we can do that at the end. So what we'll do is now we'll duplicate that one down, put address, 123 design street, creative city, www.view here 123.com. Right, okay, and we want a bit of space here, so what we can do is click on that and then Option down just to open it up a little bit, so we've got a bit of space there. W on the keyboard just to have a look at it. So it's not looking too bad, but I'm not quite happy with this curve here, so I'm going to hit P on the keyboard, or actually I'm going to hit A on the keyboard to get the direct selection, and then it's going to pull in like this. So you can change your shape, but you've got to be careful you don't go too far, because obviously the image isn't there, so something like that. So as we've got quite a lot of space, I'm going to move everything in, Shift down and then click in, so we can move that over. Can also move the image over slightly, and then just open the box here to show more of the image on that side. So that's looking a bit better now. Probably go with some more. Now what we can do now is just move that over that way to let some more of the image come through. It's starting to look better now, more balanced. Put that back to there. So I'm pretty happy with that, and I think this is a good time to save it. So Command S on the keyboard. Right, so now we've got the basics in, we can start adding some colours, and then when we've done that, we can double check just to make sure that we're happy with the spacing, etc. So what we want to do now is start adding some colour to the text. So pull the design out. So you click F5 on your keyboard, which brings up the swatches menu. And for this purpose, I'm just going to use the default colours. So I think we'll make living magenta, which will pull that out. And then we want to highlight when it is. Go back to there, and then the circle. We want to make sure that that's nice and visible. And lastly, the web address. We'll highlight that as well. Now we can once again play around a bit more with the aesthetics and the spacing. That can become a bit larger. So Command, Shift, and then drag. Push that up. Click those. I'm going to Control on a PC with G, or Command G on a Mac, just to group those together so they always move as one. Just going to pull that over there. And just move these over slightly. One click, just so we've got a bit more balance. Now what we can do now is hit W on the keyboard just to see if we're within the margins, which we are. We're hitting the bottom one there. Move that down slightly just to come within there. And then we can W again to get the preview mode. And as you can see, it's nicely sitting within the white space now. And that is how you can design something using shortcuts, which is a lot quicker. Just to show you, if I go to place an image, for example, I'd have to go File, down to Place, and then click that, and it's much quicker just to use the shortcut which we used at the beginning, which is Command or Control D, which brings up your Finder window. Once shortcuts become part of your workflow, InDesign feels completely different. Let me know in the comments if you want some more real workflow videos like this. And if you've enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And just before you go, check out the next video here, which is another productivity tips video. Thanks, and keep creating.